Hello and welcome back to another video in the world of Monster Hunter. Time for another build video. This is my Tobi crit build and it's a heavy bowgun build. This one has actually been requested by someone in another Discord trying to figure out a light bowgun build, heavy bowgun build, or any form of bowgun build really. So I'm just putting my 5p out there really, and if you guys enjoy it, you guys enjoy it. So this build is actually something I'm quite proud of. The Tobi Kadachi Line 3 is not only one of my favourite bowguns, it's pretty much, if I'm playing solo and I fancy playing heavy bowgun, this is pretty much my go-to heavy bowgun. It's a very versatile bowgun. And it's also quite handy for, oh, I need the tail. Well, this thing fires slicing shots quite well. So it's quite handy in general, really. So let us move on to the armour and skills. Now, the first thing I should really show you is just how exactly I have my light bowgun set up, which you can see here. I've got affinity increase augment, health regen augment, and attack increase augment, as well as reload assist, shield, and recoil suppressor. Yeah, sorry, I actually enjoy this weapon so much just because of how versatile it is, so I thought I'd have a little bit of fun with the editing as well. Anyway, onto the actual armour and skills. I won't fuck around anymore, I promise. So, as you can clearly see, we are using the Tobi Kadachi Line 3, the Dragon King Eye Patch Alpha, the Doberman Male Beta, Xenojiva Claws Alpha, Odegaran Coil Beta, and the Dod-Regnbue Beta. We're also using the KO Charm 3, the Rocksteady Mantle, and the Health Booster. Now overall in skills, this gives us Critical Eye level 5, Attack Boost level 4, Weakness Exploit level 3, Slugger level 3, Critical Boost level 2, Evade Extender level 1, and Flinch free. And the reason none of these are particularly maxed out, particularly on the Attack Boost or the Critical Eye, is because altogether this puts the weapon itself at a 50% affinity chance, and then when you hit that weak point with Weakness Exploit at level 3, that's 100% critical chance. Now if you can and you're so feeling cheeky, I do have a decoration for Evade Extender. I do not have another critical boost, so if you do have 2 critical boosts, you can max out that if you wish. So on to where the decorations actually lie. Now as you can see, I have 3 expert jewels casually dotted around the place. I have 1 tenderizer jewel and a jumping jewel, as well as 1 critical boost jewel, or critical jewel 2, whatever you want to call it. So if you're not too keen on having the jumping jewel, you can obviously swap that out for critical jewel 2 again, but other than that, it's a pretty standard build, not the most decorations used in the game, and it does work pretty darn well. So on to just how do I go about using this lovely build. Now again, this is the second build I'm putting up that the staple around it is actually using slicing shots. I know, it's like I just didn't get the memo. It's weird, isn't it? But basically, as with any gunner, your main objective is to sort of put the bastard to sleep or paralyze it. So typically what I would normally do is put it to sleep, put a few bombs down. This has got Whiv and Snipe along with the affinity usage from it. It's kind of handy. Or you can go with clusters, but then they won't do a lot of damage. You might have noticed at some points I'm using stickies, but that's just generally to just get a little bit of extra damage output out. It's not necessarily to do anything in particular, possibly sometimes break the head or the wings, but the general gist of this build, particularly because of the way we've got the KO charm in as well, it's to pound things with slicing, and due to the damage ticks, you do tend to knock things out, stun them a fair amount with slicing. Now typically I would use this bowgun up against things like the B250 bomber here, or some of the Rathalos classes perhaps, because they're quite weak to thunder, and this thing spits out thunder ammo like a nightmare. So that's generally where I go with this. The evade extender is nice because I find it to be quite a nice quality of life skill, particularly on heavy bow guns because of how slow and cumbersome you are. And overall the attack boost is nice, and the critical eye, they're mainly there. The reason it's only the attack boost is level 4 because that's when you get to the 5% affinity, and the critical eye is only at level 5 because that puts you at a grand total of 50% affinity on the weapon at base. If you are so wanting, you could maybe use different decorations to swap out some of the affinity, but that means that you would have to do another affinity augment on the weapon itself, so I'd say go with 2 affinity and 1 health regen, or if you are just completely brave, go for 2 affinity and an attack. But I quite like the health regen. I find it quite handy, particularly if you can get some lucky few shots off, particularly with Whiv and Snipe. That thing can heal you very, very well. So I do just like my old health regen. Overall, in general, you just got to keep being mindful of what is around you with Bowgunner. Perhaps actually hotkey your flash pods when you need to flash the bastard out of the sky. And generally speaking, heavy bowguns are not for all, and they are quite difficult to build too because of just everyone's just so preoccupied with how they want a bowgun to be. I like a little bit of status and I like a moderate damage. I don't really go for pure all-out damage. I prefer utility. I find it easier to survive rather than, right, we're both going to go all out, whoever kills the other one first is the winner. It's like, no, that for me that doesn't work. I like to play a little bit safer. I like a little bit of status, bit of sleep, bit of paralysis, bit of poison. The word poison's not that great, but you know, extra little bit of DOT just for what, 4 bullets? Can't really hurt, can it? And generally speaking, I like to just take my time, relax, chill. If I find I particularly struggle in a fight, I need to change my build. I like to just chill. Heavy bowgun solo, I aim to go for around 10 minutes. I'm not really looking to do speed runs. If I wanted to do speed runs, I'd get the old Dark Devourer out and just start sleep bombing the crap out of something. But in general, I find this build to be quite sustainable. It's very versatile, it's quite handy, and personally this is the only build I use to go up against the old Basil Geese or Beetlejuice, however people want to call him nowadays. So in general, this is one of my favorite builds, and I do hope that you guys have enjoyed this as much as I have. So thank you very much for watching. I hope to see you guys pretty darn soon. Have fun, don't die, it's bad for the health, and thank you very much for watching. Big kiss.